We are live in 3, 2, 1.
And now women are eligible to serve in any area of the military.
Utah celebrates its female veterans at the state capitol.
A Park City dog falls 9 feet into a storm drain. The steps firefighters took to save its life.
There was no collusion with Russia. There was no obstruction.
And Robert Mueller's investigation into the Russian collusion is now finished. What comes next, and reactions from Utah leaders. Welcome to Newsline. It's Monday, the 25th of March, 2019. I'm Madeline Reber.
And I'm Palakiko Chandler. Republicans say case closed. Democrats are claiming for more answers the day after Attorney General Bill Barr submitted his summary of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report to lawmakers.
Karen Kaifa is in Washington this morning with the latest and what happens from here.
The stage now set for the next battle here in Washington. Special Counsel Robert Mueller's nearly 2-year investigation found no conspiracy between President Trump, his campaign aides, and Russia. But Mueller stopped short of exonerating the president when it came to obstruction. Democrats, they're not satisfied with Bill Barr's memo. They want to see Mueller's full report and the evidence. Initial reaction to Attorney General Bill Barr's summary of the Mueller report, previewing a new battle ahead. In his memo to members of Congress, Barr wrote that at the conclusion of Mueller's 22-month investigation, the special counsel's investigation did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with Russia in its efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election. The president reacted to the news while leaving South Florida Sunday.
There was no collusion with Russia. There was no obstruction, and none whatsoever. And it was a complete and total exoneration.
But on the investigation into whether the president obstructed justice, Barr's letter quotes Mueller as saying, "While this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him." Democrats are questioning how Barr and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein came to a decision not to prosecute the president on obstruction based on the evidence. They want Barr to testify and to see the full report and Mueller's evidence.
The ball is back, and it should be back in our court, in Congress, and in the Judiciary Committee to actually look at all of this information and make our own determinations on this piece, but also continue our investigations on the other pieces.
Republican allies of the president eager to move on. The top Republican in the House, Kevin McCarthy, in a statement saying this case is closed. Barr's memo also gave a glimpse into the extensive nature of Mueller's investigation. He issued 2,800 subpoenas, executed about 500 search warrants, and interviewed approximately 500 witnesses. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Each member of Utah's congressional delegation expressed their desire for the country to accept Mueller's finding and move forward. Republican Senator Mitt Romney tweeted, "It's a good news that the special counsel has concluded that neither the president nor his campaign colluded with the Russian government. It is now time for the country to move forward." Representative Ben McAdams wrote in a statement, if the Mueller report supports the conclusion that no additional criminal matters are unresolved, then it is time for the country and Congress to move on. The next steps on how much of his report is available to Congress are still evolving, but I continue to support full public transparency and disclosure of the Mueller report to the fullest extent allowed by law.
Police arrested a man for allegedly raping a woman at her Provo home yesterday. According to the police, the 19-year-old woman said she and a 28-year-old Joshua Jarrell Edwards had been drinking alcohol before she fell asleep. She then said Edwards carried her to his bedroom where he removed her clothes and assaulted her while she was in and out of consciousness. Edwards has been arrested by Provo police for first-degree felony counts of rape and forcible sodomy. A man went on a crime spree in Kaysville on Saturday using a pipe wrench to break into multiple buildings. Kaysville police said the man tried to break into Bikers Edge around 6:30 a.m., but he couldn't actually get in. At 7 a.m., security footage shows the man breaking into Big O Tires, stealing a Toyota Sequoia, and breaking out of the garage. He then fled to Johnny's Car Wash, where he got back into his original car, a black Audi, ditching the Sequoia. He was seen wearing a gray jacket, paintball mask, and tan pants. Contact Kaysville Police if you have any information.
You can start calling Salt Lake City a holy city, but not for reasons you may think. There was a pothole on I-15 northbound over 800 South that is now fixed. Crews have been doing emergency repair work to bridge the deck. The left 3 lanes were closed over 800 South, but are opened as of this morning. The crews worked overnight, and the Utah Department of Transportation can keep you updated on their Twitter page and website.
The Utah-based sandwich shop Even Stevens is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Cassidy McKinney explains why this beloved restaurant is closing its doors to the public.
I'm here in front of the Provo Even Stevens location, which has since shut down since the company filed bankruptcy on Thursday. Stores in Arizona, Colorado, and Texas have also shut down. The company's founder and self-described cause capitalist Stephen Down has faced legal issues and other bankruptcy proceedings in recent months. Downs paid $150,000 to the federal government after the Securities and Exchange Commission filed a complaint last May. The complaint said that Down misled and defrauded those who invested in the Falls Event Center, a company owned by Down. Down received over $120 million from investors after claiming that his company was profitable. In reality, it was not. The manager of Even Stevens' neighboring store says that the company is unethical and that the fraud allegations make sense.
I work in a company next to Even Stevens, and many employees came up to me and complained saying that they hadn't been paid for a considerable amount of time.
The company's chief restructuring officer, Brooks Pickering, said in a press release that the company expanded too quickly, and this resulted in several financial and operational challenges for Even Stevens. Part of the Even Stevens restructuring plan is to suspend the company's promise to donate one sandwich for every sandwich bought in store. However, Even Stevens has not donated to local nonprofits in over 7 months. Customers were devastated to hear this do-good company was not living up to its motto, Eat to Give.
For every sandwich bought, it's a sandwich to the poor, but they're not doing that. So I think that's pretty messed up of the company.
The company says that these steps are in an effort to make Even Stevens more financially stable. But for now, Provo foodies will have to be without Even Stevens sandwiches. Customer Ben Thompson is disappointed that the shop closed its doors and is skeptical about the company's future.
It's kind of sad for the employees that were working there, so.
Even Stevens stores in St. George, Ogden, Logan, and Salt Lake will remain open during the company's restructuring process. Reporting for Newsline, I'm Cassidy McKinney.
Thanks, Cassidy.
6 people were caught in an avalanche in Cardiff Fork yesterday, leaving 1 injured. The group had equipment with them to help dig out 2 buried people. Rescue teams came around 4 p.m. to get 1 woman who suffered a knee injury down the mountain safely. The 6 people caught in the avalanche were carried 100 yards when 3 to 12 inches of whole bowl slid. According to Utah Avalanche Center, this popular ski spot found in Big Cottonwood Canyon received more snow than expected, and new avalanches have been happening.
Park City firefighters rescued a dog that fell into a storm drain Sunday afternoon. The Park City Fire District posted these photos on their Facebook page. The dog fell approximately 9 to 10 feet into uncovered storm drains. The dog was not injured during the fall. She was running around and playful upon being reunited with her pack. Comments on the Facebook post were very encouraging. People were thankful for the hard work of the Park City Fire Department.
The Utah Department of Veteran and Military Affairs held a special ceremony to salute the many women that have served our country. As reporter Bella Vaughn tells us, women veterans from each branch of the military were in attendance.
Utah's women veterans celebrated their military service with friends, family, and military leaders at the state capitol rotunda. The Utah State Senate Minority Whip Luz Escamilla spoke at the event and thanked the veterans for their honorable service, saying she would work on legislation to support their needs. Women veterans deal with many health issues years after their military service. They deal with reproductive issues and struggle to start families. They also experience trauma, including military sexual trauma, differently than men do. Despite these issues and despite never being drafted, more and more women are serving in the military. With the proper qualifications, they can do anything that the men servicemen do.
Women have been slowly cracking that glass ceiling, and now women are eligible to serve in any area of the military.
But it hasn't always been that way. The earliest women veterans from both world wars and the Korean era still don't identify themselves as military veterans because they didn't serve in combat. But men who served alongside these women have been working to help give them equal benefits for their service.
And it's amazing to think how far we've come in all those years, from the Revolutionary War when women were disguising themselves as men to now where women can proudly serve and wear that uniform.
More opportunities are opening up for women serving in the military. They can now be stationed in the same place as their spouse, and they can have families while still serving. Reporting for Newsline, Bella Vaughn, Salt Lake City.
The First Presidency and Quorum of the 12 Apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints announced a change to its study schedule and curriculum for seminary students.
We hope that they will have a great experience on Sunday at the meeting house, We hope they will go home and have an experience with their family on Sunday, and we hope that through the week they will have a great experience in seminary.
Beginning in January of 2020, the seminary curriculum will align with the church curriculum for the study topic of that year. This means that all church members will study from the Book of Mormon in 2020. Historically, the seminary curriculum has been organized by the school year.
2 Parkland students commit suicide within a week.
The trauma associated with what happened on February 14th last year is not over for this community.
What the community is doing to prevent more students taking their lives.
So what is a service?
Find out what company just launched a new streaming service and what it has to offer.
Out here in nature, out here in the wilds, we can't just eliminate all the hazards. If we're going to be out here, we have to deal with them.
National parks are popular attractions during this upcoming season. Find out what you should do and should not do to be safe.
Passengers are stuck at sea, where they are now and what officials are doing to save them. Meanwhile, we're stuck with beautiful spring weather and maybe a bit of rain as well. All when we get back.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
More heartbreak after last year's fatal rampage at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School on February 14th.
2 students from that Parkland, Florida school committed suicide in the past week. 14 students and 3 staff members were killed in the shooting, and now 2 students at the school, at least one who survived the massacre, took their own lives within the last week.
This is a new normal for the MSD, Parkland, and Coral Springs communities, and we just have to recognize that. We can't go back to February 13th. As much as we'd like to.
The news of the second suicide comes as the community mourns Sydney Aiello, who died last Sunday. Parents and county officials held an emergency meeting Sunday night. The main issue, how to prevent additional suicides.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cut short his trip to Washington, D.C. and is set to return to the Jewish state after a rocket attack in central Israel wounded 7 people. Netanyahu is in the U.S. to meet President Trump and speak at the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee conference and meet with members of Congress. He will meet with Trump but has canceled his other meetings. The rocket was fired earlier this morning from the Gaza Strip. It demolished a house, wounding 7 people and killing 2 family dogs.
Boeing tested software changes to the 737 MAX planes over the weekend. Pilots from the 3 U.S. carriers that fly the planes tested software changes to a key stabilization system. It's believed the system played a huge role in the Lion Air crash in Indonesia in October. The crash led to the indefinite grounding of all 737 MAX jets.
Sad you didn't win the big Powerball jackpot. I didn't, and neither did anyone else. That's right. Once again, no one matched all 6 numbers in Saturday night's Powerball drawing. That pushes the jackpot to $750 million. The next Powerball drawing is Wednesday. The lump sum cash payout for $750 million jackpot is more than $465 million.
The Apple event began its live stream at 11 a.m. today. Ali Arnold talks about the announcements and how people are reacting. Ali?
The Apple event is making some interesting announcements, including a new streaming service. Take a look.
This is just one example of the benefits that come from the seamless integration of hardware, software, and services. And this is something that Apple does better than anyone else.
The Apple TV app now allows you to access your cable service, pay for specific channels you want, or connect to streaming services you currently subscribe to. It is said to rival big streaming companies like Netflix and Amazon. Apple has also announced Apple News Plus, an Apple credit card, and Apple Arcade so far. People have anxiously anticipated the streaming service on social media. Before the announcement was made, one user said, "Stoked for the new video content by that rumored new Apple streaming service to be announced soon." Others are commenting on the upcoming streaming rivalry, like this user who said, "If Apple nails their new streaming service, Netflix better watch out." Others are exhausted by the numerous services, like this user who said, thoroughly uninterested in Apple's streaming service. There are already too many. Whether you prefer Apple or Samsung or any other smartphone, these announcements will have a big impact that expand into various media platforms.
BYU is had the #1 graduating rates in the state of Utah. That's according to the U.S. Department of Education. NewsLine reporter Mary Wall found out why BYU students may have a higher graduation rate than other students at other universities.
1 month from today, BYU will be hosting its graduation commencement for 2019. Right now, they currently have 31,000 undergraduate students, and it's expected that eventually 82% of them will graduate. According to the U.S. Department of Education, the next closest school has 17% less graduates. So what makes BYU's graduates so special?
One reason may be that BYU selects high-achieving and goal-oriented students during its application process. The 2018 BYU freshman class averaged a 28.8 ACT score and a 3.86 GPA.
People who have been raised in a certain culture and with certain values to look to the future with determination and sort of a vision for what they want to be and where they want to go.
BYU students also spend a lot of time studying. According to the BYU policies and procedures, students are expected to spend a 3-to-1 ratio of studying per credit hour per week. Statistics from the Association of American Colleges and Universities show that this is 1/3 more time studying than the average student.
Taught to be looking for knowledge in all areas and truth, and that includes, getting good education.
BYU offers 179 different undergraduate programs and 107 minors. That gives BYU students a lot of opportunities to find something they're passionate about.
Oh, it's so easy to write about and to research things that I actually care about.
BYU academic advisors recommend to any students that want to graduate, they should keep their minds open about their future.
Just trying to broaden your horizons as much as you can, and then just diving in and knowing that it's going to work out eventually.
Brigham Young students and alumni are grateful for the opportunity that they've had to study at this school and hope that future students enjoy these opportunities as well. Reporting for Newsline in Provo, I'm Mary Wall.
Thanks, Mary.
Utah's Big 5 national parks are entering their busy season, and the chance of accidents are on the rise. NewsLine reporter Lauren Neff tells us what visitors can do to keep safe.
Well, I'm here at the Green River Outlook at Canyonlands National Park, where a couple of weeks ago, a PhD student from Iowa lost his life.
Jonathan Hoag's body was found March 14th near this overlook in the Island in the Sky district. Investigators suspect he fell. If Canyonlands is risky, even for experienced hikers like Hoag, what can you do to stay safe in a national park? Supervisory Park Ranger Michael Rupp suggests doing your research on where you want to hike and weather conditions before coming to the park.
It's going to be somebody's unpreparedness that's going to do the most damage. Most of the safety risks, I think, out here are people maybe overestimating their capabilities and underestimating the terrain that they're going into. So
he advises checking the park website and even calling the park ahead of time to get more details.
Park rangers say that if you're at Canyonlands National Park, or at any national park for that matter, the #1 thing that you should take with you is water.
So our general recommendation is probably about 1 gallon per person per day, so about 4 liters.
A family of frequent hikers, the Sands, offer additional advice.
Good shoes. Wear good, solid, well-fitting shoes, because you can slip easily on the rocks.
Since national parks cover vast areas where cell service is spotty at best, Rupp suggests checking in with park rangers or a friend before a long hike so they know where to look if you get lost. And most of all, be aware of your surroundings and don't take any unnecessary risks to get the perfect photo.
Canyonlands has been here for millions of years. It's going to be here for a million more. Nothing is worth, no photo on there, on Instagram is worth risking your life for.
Reporting for Newsline in Canyonlands, I'm Lauren Neff.
The
cruise ship Viking Sky was stranded off the coast of Norway in rain, high winds, and chilly temperatures. You can see in this video, helicopters are hovering above the ship and airlifting passengers one by one. Multiple boats took part in the effort to evacuate about 1,300 passengers and crewmen. Norwegian Emergency Services said the crew sent a Mayday distress signal reporting engine problems in the bad weather. The ship and passengers are now all safely back in harbor. Meanwhile, here in Utah, we're actually looking at some pretty stable temperatures right here. It's going to be green, blue. That means it's all going to be fairly warm throughout. We're going to get some pretty stable temperatures between 40s and 60s most days. Meanwhile, though, around Thursday, Friday, we're going to actually see this storm front come into Utah. We're still only going to have about a 50% chance of rain, but do keep that in mind that there is a very good chance it will, in fact, rain. As we go to our highs for the day, we'll actually see that Salt Lake City is at a 62 degrees, Provo's at a 60, St. George is all the way at a 74, so temperatures are looking very warm and comfortable, especially today. So if you wore a coat this morning because it was a little bit chilly, you probably want to put that over your shoulder, maybe arm, and take a walk. Salt Lake City will drop down to 42, Provo 39, St. George is at a 46. Vernal will drop below freezing, so if you are in Vernal or even Logan, it is still going to be pretty cold, potentially later tonight, so you will want a jacket for that. Southern Utah, you're actually looking at cloud cover, following with some sunshine in the weekend, so that'll be good for you to enjoy that. Stable temperatures throughout the week. And then the 5-day forecast for northern Utah, we are looking at that rain Thursday, Friday, but it is only about 50% chance. Otherwise, it's going to be some cloud cover and some other good temperatures. So, have a good week.
Coming up, there's a familiar face returning to Utah to face the Jazz tonight. Find out who it is and why this is so monumental. Also, one of the biggest names in football is hanging up the shoes. Find out who it is and his impact on the game coming up.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana.
How does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
BYU women's basketball continues to stay hot as they beat Auburn this weekend in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
The senior's going to bounce it out. BYU hangs on to win it and move on.
The Cougars beat the Tigers 73-64 by suffocating them on the defensive side of the ball, holding Auburn to only 32% shooting from the field. Not to mention Brenna Chase's 19 points and Shaylee Gonzalez's 17. Coming off a great game and continuing their hot streak, BYU will face the number 2 seeded Stanford Cardinals today, where they seem to be a heavy underdog. Stanford is 29-4 on the season and breezed past UCI this past weekend. He was once the biggest star in the sport. He has had some ups and some downs. However, tonight, Jimmer Fredette will face the Utah Jazz after averaging 32 points a game in China this past season. Jimmer was offered a 2-year contract last week against the Sacramento Kings. Jimmer made his debut in Sacramento against the Kings on Saturday. He played 4 minutes. However, in those 4 minutes, he had 2 rebounds and 1 missed shot from downtown. Jimmer has had an up and down career. He was drafted by the Kings in 2010, played for the Bulls and the Pelicans. He also played for the Knicks and their G League team. He has played his last 3 years in China, where he has also dominated. As for the Jazz, they are currently coming off of a 31-point blowout win against the Chicago Bulls and currently sit at the 7th seed in the Western Conference. Dixie State University football player Abraham Reinhart died this past weekend. It has been reported that Reinhart died of a sudden illness after being hospitalized for an injured leg last Tuesday. Reinhart was a linebacker with a team high of 79 tackles last year, earning himself a Team All-Rocky Mountain Conference honor. He was also 23 years old. It was a sad day for football fans all around the world as three-time Super Bowl champion Rob Gronkowski has retired from the game of football.
And it's a 29-yard strike to the big boy, the all-world tight end. What a catch.
There's already talks of Gronk being a first-ballot Hall of Famer, and there is no wonder as to why. In his 9-year NFL career, Gronk is a 3-time champion, 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro. He is first in career reception yards per game amongst tight ends with 68.4, and first in touchdowns per game with 0.69. Gronkowski will turn 30 in May. We'll be right back.
Truth is, I'm impressed. I haven't been asked such intelligent questions in a long time. Nice.
These are cool. Did you, what did you...
What?
Oh baby, this story might make you think pregnancy is contagious. 9 nurses who work in the labor and delivery unit at the hospital in Maine are pregnant. The nurses all expecting babies within a few months. Nurses are all due between April and July. The soon-to-be mom says it's been great to have so much support right at work. The nurses will also be there for each other's deliveries, proving the support was there from beginning to end. I'm surprised that doesn't happen in Utah more often.
There must be something in that hospital jello.
Yes, in the jello. That's a good point.
Thank you for joining us today for Newsline.
For more information or to share your stories with your friends, check our website out at universe.byu.edu/newsline.
Have a great day.